Thank you for tuning in. This is Lance, your host of Strange Bites, where we take real science and wrap it up in a creative story and serve it in 15 minutes or less. If you're enjoying the show, please hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Give me a follow on social media. And now, let's jump into the next bite. Hopefully you're sitting alone in the dark, because the story I'm about to tell you doesn't live in bones or caves. It lives inside you. Right now, in every cell. This is episode 48, The Ghosts in Our Blood. Imagine the human genome as a vast haunted library. Every shelf is a chromosome. Every book is a stretch of DNA. Most of the books tell ordinary stories, how to build a hand, how to fight fever. But some of the pages are written in different hands, older, stranger, the handwriting of people who no longer walk the earth. For years, we knew two of those writers, the Neanderthals and the Denisovans. We had pieces of their actual DNA. We could hold their pages right up to the light and say, yes, that's them. But scientists keep finding other pages that didn't match either name. Ghostwriting, ink that shouldn't be there. Then in the summer of 2026, a team at the University of California, Berkeley, built a new kind of reading lamp. They called it TRACE, T-R-A-C-E, tracking archaic contributions via ARG estimation. Here's the simple version of what that means. Your DNA is not one long story. It's thousands of short stories shuffled together every generation by a process called recombination. Imagine every generation cuts the books into chapters and pastes them into new volumes. If you look carefully at enough modern volumes, you can still see the original chapter breaks and the places where entire chapters came from much older libraries. Those reconstructed chapter maps are called ancestral recombination graphs, ARGs. Think of them as a family tree for tiny pieces of DNA. Most of the branches are recent. A few stretch back so far they look wrong. TRACE was designed to hunt for those wrong-looking branches. The team fed TRACE hundreds of high-quality genomes from people living all over the world. No ancient bones required, just the living. And the ghosts step forward. The first ghost is one that belongs to all of us. Somewhere around 800,000 years ago, roughly the same time the ancestors of Neanderthals and Denisovans were splitting away, another lineage went its own way. For hundreds of thousands of years it lived, adapted, and changed in Africa. Then more than 50,000 years ago, before the major wave of modern humans left the continent, this lineage and our own ancestors met and mixed. The result is still inside you. Between 0.5% and a little over 1% of your genome comes from this unknown group. Africans carry it, Europeans carry it, East Asians carry it. People from every corner of the planet carry it, in roughly the same amount. That tells us the meeting happened before the big migration out of Africa. The ghost DNA was already part of the baggage our ancestors packed when they walked into the wider world. Even stranger, some of those ghost segments sit in the very region of the genome that scientists once called deserts, places that almost never kept Neanderthal or Denisovan DNA. For years, we thought those deserts meant our bodies simply rejected anything archaic. TRACE showed the opposite. The deserts rejected specific archaic DNA, not all of it. The African ghost was allowed to stay. The second ghost is older and quieter. Roughly 1.8 million years ago, another lineage branched off, deep enough that it may have walked beside early Homo erectus. This super archaic group eventually met the Denisovans in Eurasia and left a small genetic gift. When modern humans later mixed with Denisovans, especially the ancestors of people living in Oceania today, a few of those ancient super archaic fragments hitchhiked into us. Tiny, easy to miss, but real. Together, these two unknown lineages, plus the Neanderthals and Denisovans we already knew, mean that roughly 2% of the non-African genome, and a similar ghost contribution in Africans, comes from people whose faces we have never seen. The researchers, Yulin Zhang, Arjun Bindanda, Sarah Johnson, Colm Oldushelane and Priya Murjani didn't just find percentages. They mapped the actual stretches of DNA. They showed that these segments are enriched in genes that handle the immune system and metabolism. In other words, the ghost may have given us useful tools, new ways to fight pathogens, new ways to process food in changing climates. The dead still help the living survive. And because the African ghost DNA is scattered across nearly the entire genome of living people, in principle, we could one day reassemble most of that lost genome, the way archaeologists reassemble a shattered pot, piece by piece, from different modern individuals. No bones required, only the living library we all carry. So, what does it mean that every single one of us is a mosaic of the vanished? We like clean stories. We draw family trees with neat branches. We invent words like species and pretend the lines are solid. But the genome keeps whispering a different truth. The past is not a tree. It's a web. Populations meet, mix, separate, and meet again. The people we call ghosts were never ghosts to themselves. They lived full lives under the same sun. They loved, argued, adapted, and then folded into us so completely that their voices still speak through our cells. Identity becomes strange under that light. You are not purely one thing. You are the latest chapter in a long, tangled conversation that began long before any of us had names. The African ghost is in the blood of every listener hearing this right now. The super archaic fragment is quieter, but it is there for some of us. We are walking museums of people who left no monuments and almost no bones. Looking forward, these implications keep expanding. If we can recover lost genomes from the living, then the library is far larger than we thought. Future medicine may learn which archaic variants still protect us from diseases and which ones quietly raise risks. Evolutionary biology will have to redraw the maps of Africa's deep past, a place where fossils are scarce, but DNA remembers. And philosophy will have to sit longer with the question of what human even means when the boundaries keep dissolving. Perhaps the most unsettling and beautiful thought is this: the dead are not gone. They are simply distributed. Every time you fight off an infection, every time your metabolism handles a new food, some small part of that credit may belong to a population that vanished hundreds of thousands of years ago. They're not haunting us. We are the continuation of their unfinished story. So the next time you look in a mirror, remember the face looking back is only the latest surface. Underneath, older eyes are still watching. That's it for today's bite. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Give me a follow on social media. And until next time, stay strange and question everything.